All right, well, we got another day of sunshine, so we're back on the YJ today. So yesterday I finished getting the heater box back in place. I'm waiting for some pop rivets come in so I can finish that. So while I'm waiting on that, I'm going to go ahead and pull the fan off here. And I'm also pull the timing chain cover so I can replace the timing chain and gears. I'm also going to replace this cover, the timing chain cover, with a newer model one. On this one, there's this sensor port. I'm not sure exactly what it is. Right, it's really dirty, but that thing right there. The new cover I bought does not have that, because eventually I am going to swap my intake, power steering pump, and power steering bracket to a TJ model so that the tightener will be up here on the top and you don't have to mess with all those stupid ass bolts and stuff to adjust your belt. So that's the goal, but right now I'm just going to go ahead and swap the cover. That way when I put everything back together, I won't have to take this all apart again or try to trim that off, because that will rub on the belt from what I understand when you swap over. So you'll either have to grind that. So the cover was like $50, and it comes with the seal, so I don't have to replace the seal at all. So today that will be what I'm going to work on. I think, I don't know if I can get in here with this plastic thing in here. So I may pull the mud guard out. I don't think I really need it. They'll give me a place to stand while I work on the front of the motor. So I guess the first two things is to get rid of the mud guard, get the fan off. This water pump was replaced by the previous owner, so I shouldn't have to put a new one on right now, so I'm not going to worry about it. I did order a new clutch, because the previous owner told me that it was starting to slip. So I've got it halfway out. It's just resting on a jack stand right now, so I'm going to go ahead and replace that as well. So all right, so I need to figure out what size bolts this is and what size the nut for the harmonic balancer is, and then we'll get that out of there. All right, so on my 92, the 4 bolts that are holding the pulley, or the fan to the pulley, are 13. All right, so that was pretty easy. What I do is I use one of these short little pry bars and get between the nuts, and I can still get in there with a wrench on one of the other ones, and easy to hold that from spinning. So I put them back on too, so that's good. Now I can get to all of the bolts on the cover once I remove the harmonic balancer. And from what I remember reading and watching on some YouTube videos, I think there's 5 different sizes of bolts holding this cover on. I did order a new gasket set, so I have the timing chain and the front oil pan. It came as a little kit. I think it was like $20 or something. It wasn't very expensive. So yeah, all total with the cover, the timing chain set with the tensioner, and the gasket set, it was just under $100 shipped. I shopped around. I looked at Rock Auto, Amazon, eBay, and just went with the cheapest one. So do a little research, you can find it. And all right, so next is that harmonic balancer. All right, so I got that mud guard, whatever you want to call that piece of plastic, out. I was going to reuse it, but when I got to doing the driver's side and I gave it a little tug, it ripped in half right there. So that's brittle and garbage. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tie off the harmonic balancer to the axle with the ratchet strap, so I can just break that free. It is a 19, and then once I get that harmonic balancer out of the way, I can start taking off the cover. It rained so much it filled up the bucket here. I'm gonna have to find a place to dump that because it's mixed with coolant. So I'm gonna have to find some jugs and take it over to the auto parts store and turn it in. How much fun. Alright, so I hooked my ratchet strap through the hole, wrapped it around the axle, and then pulled it over to the shackle and then just tightened it up a bit. So I should be able to just pull on that and it should break right free. Alright, yep, it didn't take very much at all to break it free. Could probably just use an impact gun if I would have taken the time to go get it. But it wasn't on nearly as tight as I would have thought. I mean, it really just came right out. So I can't reach it without the stool, but I believe, yeah, it's just on the end of being finger tight right now. So I'm gonna get a my air ratchet and zip it off. Okay, so I got my puller on there. This is an installer and a remover. It's a pretty cool little tool. So I got this tight. So now all I got to do is spin this nut while holding this, and it will pull this out. And then to put it back on, you line everything back up, flip this around, and it pushes it back on, so it's always center. That's pretty cool. So yep, I need to get the wrench and the socket to hold this, and then I'll get this off real quick. Alright, so now I can get my fingers behind here. It's just about off. A couple more turns and it should come off. I'm going to hopefully not drop it on the ground, because usually at this angle, once it comes out, it just falls onto the ground. But, so yeah, this is easy. Alright, so it's off. Nice thing about this tool is it actually threads into the crank, so it kind of supports it. Sometimes you have to back it out a little bit so that you have enough room to pull it out, but on this one it stayed in fine. So now I can go ahead and just unthread this, and then I can get that out of the way. Alright, this harmonic balancer is freaking filthy. So is that. I'm not sure what that gunk is that's on the front of the crank, but it's hard as a rock. I don't believe it's supposed to be there. And there's some of it on the washer as well. So once I get it cleaned up, I'll be able to look at it. But it looks like they tried to seal up a leak instead of just, instead of replacing the damn seal, they kind of put something on it, I think. So, like I said, I have a new cover, so I'm not too worried about it. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have to go around here and clean up all these bolt heads so I can get up in there. But first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to scrub this down a little bit, get it soaking in some foamy engine cleaner. I still have a little bit left, and maybe some acetone, get some of that crap off there. Alright, so I cleaned up the washer. It's pretty nice, but yeah, whatever that is, it's like sealant. And it's hard sealant. And there's a blob of it on the end of the crank pulley. So I'm going to have to get that off too. But I'm going to finish cleaning up the harmonic balancer real quick. Alright, well, cleaning up the harmonic balancer, you can see this really nice shiny line here. That is a nice deep groove. Now I could get a seal saver to put on there, or I can get a new harmonic balancer. I'm probably just going to go ahead and order a new harmonic balancer, because I'd have to clean all this dirt crap off, make sure that was a good clean area. But it feels like there's actually two grooves. There's one here lower, then there's this one here on the other side of that dark line. So we're going to go ahead and go inside real quick and get on the internet and place an order. It won't slow me down. I'll just have to come back out here and start cleaning those bolts up, but I want to get this ordered now. All right, so I just ordered the harmonic balancer and this idler pulley. It was total of $75 shipped. So I am going to start removing the bolts around this timing chain cover here and see how bad it is. I'm just looking at how dirty it is. It is freaking filthy. All right, let me get this started. Guess I just need to start hunting down what size bolts these all are. They're everywhere. And then once I get the bolts out, I guess I'll soak them and get all that crap off of them. All right, so far I've gotten 4 out. This one has a nut and it's behind the alternator, so I'll have to move the alternator out of the way. These so far are 3/8. These others seem to be metric. They were 16 and crap, I can't remember. But so that's 2 sizes, 3 sizes. This one was a different size, and I think the ones on the oil pan are different as well. So I'm gonna get these off. I'll do the oil pan and then come do this one last. All right, so I got all of these out. These were the smaller ones. These are 3/8, but one of them is longer than the others. And I didn't pay attention to which one it came from. I think it's this one over here. Because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 of them. So we're going to go ahead and leave these in the Jeep. Now I'm going to crawl under there and see. Hopefully I can get the ones on the oil pan off. And then I just got to come back up here and unbolt the alternator. I might be able to reach around behind it. I don't know. I'll have to look. But I think I have to move the alternator all the way to get to the backside. Now I believe it's just 4. The front one here, the 2 here, and the front one right there. I think those are the only 4 I need to mess with. I think this one right here is the long one. Compared to the rest of them, it's much taller. So we'll get these 4 out of there. I don't know what size they are yet. And then once I figure that out, we can get that damn alternator bolt out of there. All right, so I got those 4 out. They were 7/16. Now we're gonna get that damn last one out of there so we can get that cover off. Okay, so I had to take the alternator completely out to get to that bolt, and there is a nut on the back. This happened to be a 15 for me. I've double checked now. I believe I have all of the bolts out. So I'm going to see if I can separate the timing chain cover from the block. It's awful dirty. All right, so that came out pretty easy. Not sure how much tension is supposed to be on this little guy here, but I can push it with my finger fairly easy. This side's got a little slack in it. Here is a timing mark. I'm going to get some white paint, put a dot on that one, and figure out where it is on this one. But the guide on the other side, it's got some decent grooves in it. And it's pretty hard. The new one is very soft rubber. So I'm going to clean up this gasket and get it out of here. I'll probably just trim off the edges or with a razor blade so I can put the new one in. Clean up all of this stuff once I get the gears out of there so I can get that done. I'll stick some towels down there so none of that crap goes down the motor. But yeah. All right, so I'm not sure how much farther, but I do want to get these gears out of here today, and we'll probably call this a day once I get to that point. We'll see how I feel. All right, so based on the new one, the timing mark should be right there. I just can't get down there to see it real good. But so yeah, I believe our timing marks look like they line up. So I just need to break this nut loose or bolt loose so I can pull that chain forward a little bit and it should be able to come right out. Alright, so might be a little hard to see, but that has some major grooves in it. Got the 2 gears out of the way. Everything else looks pretty good. Now, in none of the videos did anybody mention dropping the oil pan to do this project that I've watched. But there are 2 bolts on this metal bracket that go straight up. And it looks like we're going to have to drop the oil pan. Okay, so that's another step that I was not prepared for, I guess. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and drain the oil out and drop the oil pan and then order up a gasket. That'll make life a lot easier putting this thing back together too. Alright, so let's drain the oil. Alright, so I drained the oil. I got most of the oil pan bolts out of the way. I have to drop the starter, but that takes like a star bit, and I'm getting tired of dragging myself from underneath the vehicle today. So I'm going to leave that for right now. So, and then there are some oddball bolts that are long with a nut or something at the top. So I'll need, I'm not sure what size it is because the 7/16 that I've been using for the rest of them doesn't fit it. So once I figure that out, and then the 2 bolts right in the corner, right, the next bolt in here and the next bolt in on that side, they're not the same either. So there's 2 different sizes. And it looks like, I can't really tell because it's so freaking dirty, but it looks like I might need to drop the dust cover out of the way as well. But luckily that's just 2 big bolts, and I should be able to just drop it, and then I can get to the 2 last bolts that are in the corner in the back. So next up, go order a damn oil pan gasket. All right, so that's kind of where I'm going to leave off today. I did get the pop rivets in, so I'll got to go pick those up over at the post office. So I'll go get those. I'm trying to think what I can work on while I'm waiting. I could put the timing gear back in place. The only issue is the tensioner is still in the way. So I want to clean all that up. I need to clean the gaskets up. I can go ahead and get rid of this pulley because I ordered a new one. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So, yeah, roadblocks. So, that's next thing we're going to be working on is tomorrow we'll be dropping the oil pan. And hopefully we'll get a gasket quick. Okay, well, thanks for watching. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Somebody has a better idea, let me know.